How's it going, guys? I moved recently, and I was going through a bunch of old boxes with my wife. We're just trying to get rid of a lot of crap that has been moved from one house to another over the past 30 years. And this cassette came up, and I looked at this thing. Zig Ziglar, 5 Steps to Successful Selling. And I thought, holy smokes. I remember when I used to drive around in my truck, mid-90s, early 90s, and I listened to this in my cassette player in my truck. For those of you that don't know me, my name's Scott Williams with Canine Healing, and I'm putting together a program for dog trainers and how to sell more dog training, because I think there's really a need there. I've been as a lot of you guys know already, I had a dog training business for 15 years called Beyond the Leash Dog Training. I started in Los Angeles, and then I moved back to my home state of Massachusetts, and kind of had to start all over again there because new state, they didn't know me from Los Angeles, you know. And in both states, I was able to generate, you know, upwards of $300,000 a year in sales within 3 years' time. And the reason for that, there's many reasons for it. I've thought about this stuff, like why does the average dog trainer only make like 35, 40 grand a year? Because that's not even really enough to live on, you know? And there were a lot of different reasons for why I generated that kind of money. The main one was I had a family, I had a mortgage, I had a fair amount of overhead, and I decided to make a career change midstream when I already had a successful business, and I decided I wanted to be a dog trainer. And but I thought, I don't know if I can be a dog trainer and pay my bills. I didn't know if it was possible. I had to do a lot of research, and then what I did was I started the dog training business in conjunction with, I had a roofing business. I ran both businesses at the same time for a couple of years just to make sure the dog training was going to really take hold and was going to be able to pay my bills, and then I closed the roofing business as soon as I could. But getting back to Zig Ziglar, I've started, this goes back, and I'm not trying to jump all over the place and be crazy, but when I was a young person, I used to be a big partier. I used to drink all the time and raise hell and drive back and forth around the country, and I really just wanted to kind of avoid a lot of responsibility. I just wanted to enjoy my life. I kind of thought of myself as maybe someday being a writer, and I was just creating all of these experiences that later I would write about. And I had gone back and forth to California several times, and then finally I felt like I was really in a rut, and living in Massachusetts where I grew up, and I needed to break free. I needed to just get away from that small hometown and start fresh. So I decided I had $2,000. I packed up my little Volkswagen Rabbit, and I drove out to Huntington Beach, where I knew a couple of guys that I had met earlier, and they said, hey, come on out, we got a place for you to sleep, that kind of stuff. I got there, and I didn't look for a job. I just started drinking and going to the bars with these guys and going to the beach and just enjoying that Southern California lifestyle that you see on TV, you know? And I burned through the money pretty quick. And then I grabbed a job. I got a job in the studios building sets. So I was working at Universal Studios and Sony Studios and all of these great places, movie stars all around me. And that was pretty good. It was pretty good, but I was drinking the whole time, drinking a lot. And I wound up, because the distance between Huntington Beach and the studios was pretty far, and with heavy traffic, I decided I can't keep going back and forth. I'm just going to move up there. And I wound up, long story short, I got a drunk driving up there. I moved up there, moved to LA in the October of '88. I moved to California. February of '89, I got a drunk driving. Okay, so I wasn't there more than a few months. Got pulled over, got a drunk driving. Wound up doing the drunk driving school and getting that all straightened out, but I was still drinking. I still like hadn't quit, you know. I mean, it was a problem. So I decided I need to quit drinking. I went to AA, and I moved away from everyone I knew down in Huntington Beach. I didn't know anybody, and I actually quit the job in the studios because everyone I worked with, we all drank all the time after work and all that. I need to get away from everybody, and I wound up living in my car. Long story short, I had no place to live. I wound up in the mountains of the Angeles Crest National Forest, and then going to AA meetings every day. And I wound up getting sober, and I decided I needed to start a new life and get all that stuff behind me. And I did. And I didn't have any skills. I didn't have any education. So I started going through the newspaper looking for work, and I started applying for these sales jobs. And so I needed to learn how to sell because the in-house training that you got with a lot of these places was super weak, you know. And so I started investing in myself. I started educating myself. And this was something that you would buy in a bookstore, like Crown Books. You know, there were these big bookstores that all went out of business. This is before the internet. And so I went in, I got this, I got a bunch of others, Brian Tracy, McKay, a lot of different trainers that had these cassettes on how to sell. And I started learning, you know, about relationships, building rapport with people, asking for the sale, dealing with objections, all this kind of stuff. You know, I just kind of had to learn it on my own because the only way I could make a living, I could make a living as a carpenter and as a laborer, which I had a lot of laboring jobs. But I got a taste of some good money when I started selling. So that was the first time up to that point, and I was like 28 years old, where I made $1,200 in a week. And this is in, 1989. I made $1,200 in a week, and I was like, oh my God, this is serious money. I mean, I think that the minimum wage at that time was maybe $8, and if you made $400 in a week, $10 an hour, maybe that's, for a laborer, that was kind of the going rate. That's what you're going to get. So for me to make $1,200 in a week, I was like, wow. And it also brought up my confidence, my self-esteem, and made me felt like I had value, And I think that when I think about dog trainers and making 35, 40 grand a year, I think there's a confidence issue there. I think that, there's a lack of training as far as how to sell dog training, but I think also this could be a confidence issue. And because by the time I got involved in dog training, I already had the confidence. I had already sold millions of dollars in roofing, and God knows I had had so many sales jobs. I mean, I sold prearranged funeral arrangements where I was going to people's homes and showing them caskets. I worked for a dating service before they had these internet dating websites. I worked for a company where you would fill out a postcard and send it in, and then I would have to go to your house and try and get you to sign a contract so that for this dating program where we would, fix you up with other people. I had so many different sales jobs, you wouldn't believe it. And, a lot of them didn't pan out, but I learned something from every single job. I learned something that I could take with me. And I didn't realize that I was taking these things with me all the time, but I learned a lot of techniques, and I learned how to use a phone and how to close deals on a telephone. I learned how to make appointments. And all of these little steps I brought with me to my roofing business when I started the roofing business. And then when I decided I want to be a dog trainer, once I had my skills to a point where I felt confident enough that I could go to your home, evaluate your dog, work with your dog, and feel that I could make a big difference for you and help you, the sales part wasn't a big deal. This wasn't difficult for me because I already had been working with the Zig Ziglar and a lot of these guys and practice, and I knew what it was all about. And I knew how to sell without being a real pushy salesperson, how to really help people. And so that's kind of the beginning of my journey. So nowadays, go on YouTube, okay? The audiobooks are free. You can get the 5 steps to successful selling. by Zig Ziglar, free on YouTube. One of the quotes he had on here that I always loved, and it was kind of his slogan. He said, "You can have anything you want in life as long as you're willing to help enough other people get what they want in life." You know, and that really resonated with me. That was kind of cool. And he had a lot of sayings like that. He was a little bit of a quirky guy. He was he's got this southern accent. He's passed away a few years back, but he was a huge influence on many, many very successful people. So, Zig Ziglar, wherever you are, thank you. And for all you dog trainers out there, get on YouTube and listen to some of these sales audiobooks. And some of them are good, some of them are great, some of them you're not going to like. But there's so much free information now. And I'm going to start putting up videos on things I've done over the years to get my gross sales around $300,000 a year. And you may like some of that stuff too. Some of that may help you. Take what you like, leave what you don't. The courses and that I will have under the Canine Healing website will be a 6-figure dog trainer. And I got a lot of different things I'm putting up now. So I hope that helps you. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. If you have any comments or anything like that, leave them below. Please subscribe to this channel if you'd like to hear more, because I'm going to be putting up a lot of videos now. Hopefully, they'll be maybe a little more instructional, a little more helpful than this one. This one is more just kind of giving you a background on me and how I got to this point in my life. But subscribe to my channel. Hit the little bell there so you get notified when I put a video up. Listen to a few of these videos. And please comment. Let me know what you think. That's about it. Thank you. Peace, guys. I'll talk to you later.